Hey everyone, Beto Paredes here again in our media center for Marketplace Masters. If you spent some time with us here, you know that what we have is very valuable intel on some of the best vendors and some of the best products and services that we have in the industry. Now, just having said that, I want to talk to you about what I would consider part of the top 1% of the opportunities that I've had an option to go through, and that's with a gentleman named Tim Kintz. He's actually here on the phone with us today. Been in the business over 27 years, been a general manager and in management in several dealerships, has a philosophy that I absolutely love, and he's going to share that with you here as we kind of continue forward with this conversation. Tim, how are you today?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, and I appreciate, everyone listening here, dealers, Tim is actually a dealership today, has taken a little bit of time to find somewhere where he can do this interview because this is the kind of person he is. I don't think I've ever caught him where he hasn't been on the road working directly with the clients that he has in the dealerships that he's working with. Tim, I think that's an incredible thing that really sets you guys apart. So let's talk about the history that you have. Talk to me a little bit about what got you into the car business and how you got where you're at now.
Well, I got in the car business kind of like a lot of people by accident, right? Didn't grow up saying I was going to be in the car business. I just kind of ended up there and started out washing cars at a Honda Acura store and saw the potential, saw how much money could be made. And next thing you know, 27 years later, I'm still in the car business.
27 years later. So 27 years of working in dealerships. Now, you told me that you actually have graduated from NADA's academy as well, which I think is obviously a huge benefit for the people that are listening here. Not just traditionally trained, as well as the guy who's got a tremendous amount of experience going into dealerships and dealing with these dealerships. So let's talk a little bit about what the Kintz Group actually offers to dealerships. Tell me about the service model that you guys have.
So we are a full-service, all-access training company that we offer the traditional seminars, which are great for instant immersion to give everybody the big picture, whether it's the leadership workshop or the sales workshop or the desking or negotiation workshop, could be the BDC and the lead generation, lead management training. So we do the seminars and get everybody pumped up. And we also have Kintz Now, which is the most current, relevant, up-to-date online training platform in the industry. So we have the workshops to get everybody pumped up. We have the online training for the ongoing continuous development. But the one thing that we really do that's unique and different than every other training company is we also come into dealerships and help with the implementation, execution, and coaching of the strategies, systems, and processes that we teach in the workshops and online.
Just like you are today, you guys go into dealerships on a daily basis. Talk to me a little bit about what that experience is like.
So when we go into dealerships, that have been through the training, the initial onboard training of our processes, procedures, and they have the online training. So we have the continual training in between our visits. But when we're in the dealership, it's more of the coaching, it's the consulting. We will literally sit down and look at all of the dealership's processes, what their procedures are, and we will identify pressure points. Where are they missing out on deals? And it could be in the actual sales process itself that it might be taking too long, or maybe we're doing credit apps when the customer first walks on the lot and we're taking the excitement and enthusiasm away from the customer and making them logical. It could be their follow-up and their prospecting systems. It could be their BDC. We will look at the entire sales operation, find the pressure points, and then we will identify the areas that we can work on and fix that will give us the biggest impact immediately with the least amount of pain. Because the worst thing we could do is go in and try to change everything tomorrow. Because that's the new sheriff in town, you got to change everything you're doing. Well, then all of a sudden you blow it up and we leave in 6 months and nothing's working. So we will identify best practices, and we will start training the guys, coaching them. We'll sit down. We will do one-on-ones. We will help the managers while they're desking deals. We will sit in on the training and coach and train the managers and leaders on how to hold effective training and not just going through the motions. So we will literally look at all the people and processes and develop a faster, simpler, and more efficient selling process so we can deliver an exceptional customer experience every single time.
You know, that makes a tremendous amount of sense. You said something to me earlier that I really resonated with, and I think our dealers here listening will resonate with as well, in that there's not this cookie cutter, one size fits all philosophy or way of really approaching a dealership and the things that are needed in order to really increase their revenue. It really comes down to identifying what their local market is really doing and what they're able to do on a personal basis as a specific dealership, and you really tailor that experience. How important is that?
Oh, it's critical. I mean, I work with dealerships that sell, well, when we start going in there, some of them have sold as little as 30 or 40 a month, and I work with dealerships that are selling over 1,000 vehicles per month. And when I go in there, every single one of them is unique. But I will tell you, there is a common thread that every one of these dealerships have, and that is the need for better, more efficient processes, the need for more effective training, the need to have more resilient and disciplined leaders in the dealership, and then the relentless drive to always pursue greatness is what it really comes down to. Is the old saying, go from good to great, but like Tim Grover says in his book Relentless, it's about becoming unstoppable. And becoming unstoppable, it's a mindset. And we got to realize that there's a lot of disruptive forces going on in our industry now that are trying to grab a piece of our market, with Carvanas and potentially Amazon jumping in and Walmart. And we have to be more progressive and innovative than we've ever been in the past, because customers are demanding that simpler, more transparent, more efficient process.
Absolutely, and that resonates with something else that you said earlier as well, and that's that you've got to keep up with all of the different methodologies and the technology that's really developing in the space so that you don't get left behind in certain ways. And one of the things I love just in that vein is that you're very focused on not just going into the dealership, but like you were talking about, having that online training available in an instant fashion to where the dealer as well as their sales staff can access that information and their management staff at any given time. Talk to me a little bit about that. I know that's kind of a big project for you guys in-house.
Absolutely. It is a mobile-first platform. I wanted to make sure that salespeople were not going to be tethered to their laptops or desktops inside. And it is up to date. We always are adding new content based on what we're learning, that what's going on live in the market right now. So we're always adding content and educational courses on there for everybody. And the great thing about it is also an accountability tool in there. So when a salesperson or manager, quite frankly, takes a chapter, they have to take a quiz, pass the quiz, and once they do that, then they get credit for doing it. So now as a dealer, general manager, or manager, I can inspect what I expect. If I expect you to take 3 or 5 chapters per week, then I can go in and make sure you're actually doing it. It has checks and balances, right? Trust that they're doing it, but verify that they're doing it. So now I have an accountability tool to make sure they're doing it. And the great thing about Kintz now is it can be used in group training. So when managers are holding their group training, they can use that how-to. They're anywhere from 3 to 7-minute clips, and they're very specific on one topic, on how to, whether it's stay off price or close or overcome objections. And it ensures that when training is happening in the dealership, group training, that the salespeople are getting a consistent message, a consistent how-to from every manager. Because if you don't have a tool like that, then every manager will give their version of what closing means, or their version of what a walk-around is, or their version of an unsold follow-up call. And that mixed messages, the different philosophies becomes confusing to salespeople, and they can't duplicate the skill. So by having it in group training, you have a consistent message. It's also probably the best tool out there for continual education for sales. So for instance, in all the dealerships I go into, we require them, the salesperson, to take 5 chapters per week. And they do one a day. It's 3 to 7 minutes long. It's about, give or take, 20 to 30 minutes per week of continual education, so they can stay fresh. They can stay up to date. A basketball player doesn't learn to shoot free throws once and then they're done practicing free throws. So it's that repetition. Repetition creates habits, it creates knowledge, and it helps create skills. So by taking a chapter every single day, they're able to stay fresh. And with it being mobile, they could be taking that chapter while they're waiting for an up. Let's say they're taking a chapter on how to overcome objections, the 4 C's to overcome objections. Next customer that walks on the lot, man, they're going to be 10 foot tall and bulletproof if that customer gives them an objection, because it's fresh in their mind. So you have both of those ways. You have group training, you have individual development, and it's a great coaching tool for managers when they're doing one-on-ones. Because if I see that a salesperson's having a challenge getting customers on the demo, I can go as a manager directly to Kintz Now, log in, and go to the chapter on how to assume a demo. I could take that chapter with the salesperson, and I could do a personalized coaching session to help that individual get better. So you have multiple ways to use Kintz Now to grow the store, whether it's group training, individual daily improvement, or using it in your coaching and your one-on-ones.
Absolutely love that. And let me tell you something, everyone, whenever I talk to Tim, I can just feel that passion that he has for what it is they're training. That kind of brings me to the subject that you have coming up here in our show. Here in September, everyone, 6th, 7th, and 8th, Dallas, Texas, the Hyatt. Tim is going to be on our keynote stage, and his subject matter is relentless leadership. Dominate now and build the future. Tim, tell me a little bit about what dealers are going to be able to take away from your workshop.
Well, number one is about being a relentless leader, right? Never giving up, right? Having as a leader, your relentlessness is stronger than the salespeople's resistance, right? And I have to, as a leader, I have to stick to our processes, to our procedures, but I have to be able to sell my team on whatever that vision is, whatever our processes are. If my salespeople aren't executing what I want them to execute, then that means I didn't do a good job of selling them. All I was doing was telling them. Salespeople need to be sold and not just told, and that is one of the most important things that us as leaders have to do. We have to sell them on the current processes, but we also, as leaders, have to understand that there's numerous disruptive forces that are going to start affecting our business more and more. Like I mentioned before, with Amazons and Carvanas and Walmarts all looking to get into the car business and steal some of our market share, we have to be visionaries, and we have to understand that we're in an Amazon world where everything needs to be quick and easy. Everybody wants delivery. It's not good enough to have delivery of a new shirt tomorrow. I want a drone to bring it to me right now. And that is the market that we're moving into. So the question is, what are you doing to make the necessary changes and to evolve the business? Or are you just going to become extinct and the traditional dealerships are going to be a thing of the past? So there'll be a percentage, 5 years, 10 years, whatever that number is, of customers that will be buying vehicles completely online. And are you able to look out into the future and start developing the processes and procedures now and systems to be able to sell cars both traditionally to the customers that are walking on our lot and to the customers that are looking to do it completely digital? Or will you end up being Kodak and filing bankruptcy the same day that Facebook paid $1 billion for Instagram, and everybody thought they were crazy. And now who looks crazy? Kodak or Facebook, because they didn't make changes. They didn't adapt to the changing market. And we're really going to break down the steps it takes to maximize your profits and processes right now and making them efficient, fast, and simple for customers. But we're also going to look at how do we start building that dealership of the future at the same time so we can generate multiple streams of revenue.
Love that. So the impact of Tim's talk is going to be very, very beneficial for you. Come on down September 6th, 7th, and 8th at the Hyatt Regency Marketplace Master Dealership Series. He's going to be on our keynote stage, but do not hesitate to get in touch with Tim right away. Obviously, you'll get a chance to meet him at the show, but Tim, if I wanted to get involved with your company, I wanted to possibly get started with your services, what's my first step?
Go to Kintz Now, K-I-N-T-Z, now, N-O-W.com, and you can check out the services we have there. And you can also call me or text me personally at 469-475-3883, and we can talk about how we can help your dealership grow now and build that dealership of the future.
Love it. Love it. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. And dealers, please do not hesitate to jump on our site, get your passes, come on down, see Tim on stage, visit with his folks, and don't hesitate to give him a call right away. And Tim, I thank you so much for spending some time with us and taking away from the work that you were doing today so that we can have some valuable time and share some good information about your services with our dealers.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You have a great rest of your day.